Rule 5. Inter-unit coordination. Personnel coordination by official representative. Team leaders, TL of local police units operating outside their territorial jurisdictions, and national support units, NSUs, shall coordinate personally or through an official representative with the police regional, provincial, or city police office within whose jurisdiction the operation is to be conducted. Coordination by filing a coordination form in inter-unit coordination refers to the process of exchanging information, updates, and requests between different units or teams by using a standardized form or template. Coordination by practical available means of communication in inter-unit coordinations refers to the process of utilizing the most suitable and accessible communication methods to facilitate coordination between different units or teams. Basic requirements: police operations like arrest, search and seizure, checkpoint roadblocks, demolition and civil disturbance management shall be conducted as follows: with the marked police vehicle, led by a police commission officer, and with personnel in prescribed police uniform or attire. The use of megaphones and similar instruments can be valuable in various requirements of police operations. Examples: crowd control. Megaphones can be used to address large crowds during protests, demonstrations, or public gatherings. They allow the police to communicate instructions, warning, or announcement to the crowd, helping to maintain order and ensure public safety. The use of warning shots by police officers during operation is generally discouraged or prohibited in many jurisdictions. Warning shots are discharged into the air or ground with the intention of alerting or deterring potential threats without directly targeting individuals. The use of excessive force by police officers is indeed prohibited and highly discouraged in law enforcement operations. Excessive force refers to the use of more force than is reasonably necessary to accomplish a lawful objective, and it is a violation of human rights and legal standards. Issuance of verbal warning. The issuance of verbal warning is a common practice in law enforcement operations. A verbal warning is a form of communication used by police officers to inform individuals that their behavior or actions are in violation of the law or a specific rule, regulation, or policy. Non-issuance of verbal warning when excusable. The decision not to issue a verbal warning in law enforcement operation can occur for various reasons. While verbal warnings are a common practice, there may be situations where officers determine that it is not appropriate or necessary to issue a verbal warning. Use of non-lethal weapon. Use of non-lethal weapons, also known as less lethal weapons, less than lethal weapons, is a common practice in law enforcement operations. Non-lethal weapons are designed to minimize the risk of causing serious injury or death while still providing law enforcement officers with options to control or subdue individuals when necessary. Application necessary and reasonable force. The application of necessary and reasonable force is a fundamental principle in law enforcement operations. It refers to the use of force by law enforcement officers that is proportionate, justified, and necessary to achieve a lawful object or to protect themselves or others from harm. Factors to consider in the reasonableness of the force employed. When assessing the reasonableness of the force employed during a police operation, several factors are taken into consideration. These factors help determine whether the use of force was justified and proportionate in the given circumstances. Responsibility of the police officer. The police officer in charge of a police operation holds significant responsibility when it comes to the use of force by their subordinates. They are responsible for ensuring that the use of force is carried out in a lawful, professional, and proportionate manner. Use of firearms when justified. The use of firearms by law enforcement officers during police operations is a serious matter and is justified only in specific situations where there is an immediate threat to life, including the officer's own life or the lives of others. Firing at moving vehicles prohibited, but with exception, is generally discouraged and prohibited on many law enforcement agencies due to the potential risks and dangers involved. However, there may be exemptions to this prohibition in certain circumstances where the use of deadly force against a moving vehicle is justified. Parameters to be considered in firing at moving vehicles. In firing at a moving vehicle, the following parameters should be considered: the intent of the suspect to harm the police officer or other persons, the capability of the suspects to harm with certainty the police officer or other persons, and accessibility for the proximity of the suspect from the police officer and other persons. Filing of an incident report after the use of firearm. Filing an incident report after the use of firearms is a critical step in ensuring accountability, transparency, and documentation of the incident. It is essential for law enforcement officers to accurately and thoroughly document the details surrounding the use of a firearm. Procedures after an unarmed confrontation. Immediately after an unarmed confrontation, the officer who is in charge of the operation shall secure the site of confrontation, take photographs, check whether the situation still poses imminent danger, evacuate the wounded to the nearest hospital, ensure that all persons who died on the spot are not moved from their original positions. Procedures after an unarmed confrontation. Immediately after an unarmed confrontation, the officer who is in charge of the operation shall secure the site of confrontation, take photographs, check whether the situation still poses imminent danger, evacuate the wounded to the nearest hospital, ensure that all persons who died on the spot are not moved from their original positions.